let's put it this way. That was such a huge win for the program. They had to celebrate it. And all they needed was Cam Kinchens to wiggle a toe and wiggle a finger and have a little bit of optimism that he's going to be fine, and they were in full celebration mode. And I don't blame the club for that. Once they knew that the outlook was going to be good, they were full on, let's just celebrate what was a pretty seismic victory for the program and well needed. Kirk Herbstreit said before the game, I don't know that any game or any coach needs this win more than Miami right now, and I don't think he was wrong.
Well, I think he was wrong in that it was a coach that ended up losing that game. And I've been very judicious with Hurricanes talk, and I've been very rational to the point that I take exception to the description of yesterday's local hour where it said Mike was excited. It should have said Mike was totally rational and only talked about the Hurricanes for 90 combined seconds. All right, but I don't want it to be like a joy suck. It's been a fun local hour. So let's laugh at Jimbo Fisher because he had 2 sore loser sound bites that really made me chuckle, and it also made me realize that, holy cow, Jess has an incredible Jimbo Fisher impression. First, let's hear Jimbo Fisher blame the turf for this loss.
I don't know, maybe we had the wrong cleats. I don't know. I mean, the middle of the field did slip, but they had the same guys we did. I know Connor did a couple times. Like, he was getting ready to throw. His feet went out from under him, and that happened. What will happen a lot of times when you play at teams that have different logos. In other words, I say multiple teams play at a sport. They change that logo out. Well, when they do that, they change that grass has to be interchanged. So that's usually done on a very quick. And then plus their stadium, those stadiums that have that half. Don't get the sunlight to dry out, and then you had the rain, and plus, and you'll wet that part to make that grass take, and it makes that slick, and then you'll paint on the emblem. And when you have to take stadiums, and in my history of it, they always do that. You'll have a lot of some of those issues occasionally in that situation, and that seemed to what happened.
Sure.
Oh, my God, they're paying him so much money to make excuses.
That was pretty incredible. Now, most people watching on TV didn't know that every time Miami took the field on offense, we did actually switch out the midfield logo so we could have an advantage there. Also, as I'm one to do after a big win, is I love to listen to opposing losing podcasts, and I actually did listen to a bunch of Texas A&M podcasts, and the funny thing was they all said they slipped a bunch last week too, so maybe it is the cleats, but if you thought the excuses ended there was an important 2-point conversion that the play got blown up, and here's Jimbo's excuse for that.
The ball they clapped. Well, they simulated our snap count, and our guys heard the clap, and they snapped the ball. We had a whole play we had to play, like a goal line play, and what happened, the ball got snapped early because they simulated the snap count and clapped their hands and snapped the ball.
That was for the record. That was a 4th and short where they had a procedure call. They went from a touchdown situation to kicking a field goal, and he is claiming, and teams do this, that the secondary of the Hurricanes was clapping to simulate the clap, but he was. You need to score there. You need to score touchdowns there. You need to win the game. Like, you can't make it about claps. Nobody wants to hear about claps.
Back to the turf. The Dolphins haven't played at the stadium since August 11th. Yeah, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, but I mean,
practices,
they got the ceiling, and he's played there plenty.
Right.
So I've actually, in searching for this video, I searched Jimbo Fisher snap and clap, and apparently this is one of his go-tos. Every year, every time they lose, it's like the opposing defenders are out there simulating. So I actually saw the video, and it's literally a safety clapping at his corner, like, hey,
right.
Like, there isn't a single, like, clap or anything like that. It's just a defender clapping. And over there, and also, who the bleep cares? That is a terrible excuse. They're paying him so much money.
I love that he has stock excuses, though. It's great.
We can indeed make this, if you want, about turf and claps. But what I was watching during that game and in the first week after the Miami of Ohio coach says after the game, you don't hear this a lot. Good God, we were beat up. We were physically beat up. Something that I am seeing, and it's relatively rare, I would say, when you're watching football to see a difference from one year to the other in the place that I'm about to tell you. They had a play, Stugotz, and this is timing. This is not necessarily about strength necessarily, because kickoffs aren't always about strength. But I'm also not used to a Brashard Smith running 98 yards right up the middle of your field, untouched, easy and clean. because what's like not untouched up the middle of the field, not a move, just catch a kickoff, go. And it makes me wonder, just generally watching this team, not that play, though that play too, that mustachioed crazy person that they have as a strength coach on that team that visually looks amazing and is teaching these people to be stronger. I can't believe I'm saying it through 2 games. I can't measure this for you in any discernible way, but to my eye, just like I look at Zach Wilson and I'm like, oh my God, that's a scared boy's head on an adult quarterback's body.
1-0.
I am looking at one of the differences that I saw between college-faced pimple people that Deion kicked out of that room. When I saw Deion in the room talking about the luggage and I'm looking at the players he's talking to them, those are kids. Kids don't play at the top of this sport. They don't look like kids playing at the very top of this sport. And I think I physically see, maybe my eyes are lying to me, a stronger University of Miami football team, physically stronger.
You're seeing a different University of Miami football team because there's 40 new players. We turned the roster over, and yes, some of the players have grown and developed inside the strength and conditioning program. A lot of players have put on 30-plus pounds since getting into it, but also we've recruited bigger, meatier men. And you saw that. And I think for Jimbo, the biggest indictment is they've had a 4-year head start on their program over there at Texas A&M. 2 years ago, they had the most celebrated recruiting class of all time. And Miami lapped them. Miami bullied them. Miami's definitely on the right path. And they got to the right path way quicker than Jimbo.
When you can be stronger than an SEC team, this is where you need to play. When you can be physically stronger than an SEC team.
Another thing crazy about Jimbo Fisher making excuses is that Miami gifted Texas A&M the first 2 touchdowns with special team mistakes. This was, by all intents and purposes, a 48-17 type route. That's the way it should have been. That was the disparity in these 2 teams.
One of the things that was jarring to me, though, because we talked about this yesterday, Stugotz, to watch an Alabama game and to be like, oh, they're not just stronger than everybody anymore. I don't mean stronger as in better. I just mean, oh, they're not actually physically much stronger
Texas
than
is, yeah.
But on top of that, wow, a lot of breakdowns on defense. Who's their defensive coordinator? Mario Cristobal got it right. The coordinators are gone. Maryland already wants Gaddis out. I mean, Bama's irate about their DC. Mario Cristobal realized he made a mistake with his hires, and he turned it around.
And Nick Saban's NFL quarterback streak has ended. They just don't have the quarterback
This is
play.
the new and unimproved Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz. Gamble on by DraftKings.